Bricklink Series 11 just dropped, and oh my gosh, some of these sets are horrible. Some of them are good, but most of them are so bad a fifth grader could design them and sell them, and they would have passed. I don't know who voted for some of these, but oh my goodness, some of these people should not be allowed to vote. All right, so let's start off with the first one. I actually really like this one because I know a lot of people really like the Space Series, and I do think this is a pretty cool set. Hopefully, Lego doesn't overprice this set, but it does look like it's going to have 2,600 pieces. And if I had to put a guess, on the cost of it, it'll probably be about $180 to $200, which isn't too bad. Still expensive, but it could be worse. All right, so first up is going to be the Lunar Cargo Train. Honestly, this one doesn't look too bad. I really do like the Spaceman, and a lot of people really do like getting all the colors of the Spaceman, which I think is pretty cool. So anybody who has a space series or building the space sets are really going to like this one to add to their collection. All right, so it looks like it has a satellite dish. The train is pretty cool, and it actually looks like it looks like you can put it on a track. I'm not 100% sure, but here's all the little accessories that come with it, and all the space people or the astronauts have names, which is pretty cool. Anyways, this one is not too bad. Like I said, anybody who collects the space stuff will really like this one. All right, the next one, honestly, this is the worst castle they could have possibly chosen. It's called the Royal Nest. From this picture, it doesn't look too bad, but from the castles I've seen that could have passed, this is definitely on the bottom of the totem. So at this angle, it doesn't look that bad, but as you can see, as we get further along, it starts looking pretty bad. So from this angle, it actually looks very small. I will say I do kind of like the details on the side, but for what the price is probably going to be, $250, I definitely would not pay $250 for this castle. All right, and as you can see, another angle makes it look really small. Compared to the previous Dustmark Keep, the Dustmark Keep just blows this thing out of the water. And from a top-down view, there is very limited space for playability with this set, and it just does not scream, wow, I really want to buy this set, and nobody that I have seen has actually really loved this set. All right, and here's a look at the inside. Honestly, pretty plain. You can move your little minifigures like that. Nothing crazy. All right, and here's a closer look at the inside. From some of the angles, Lego did try to angle it to make it look, oh, look at this huge castle, but honestly, this is not a top 10 castle in any category. Yeah. All right, and here's the minifigures. The minifigures aren't bad, but honestly, like I said, this is definitely going to be a pass on this set. So the next one I'm going to show, everybody I've seen has loved this set, and I did do a deep dive look into it, and this thing looks sick. It's probably going to be close to $350, as much as the Dustmark Keep, but this one definitely looks worth it. And a lot of people were saying they're going to actually add it to their Lord of the Rings build, which I think is going to be pretty cool. All right, so here's all the different features. So it looks like there's a hall, an underground bath, which is pretty cool, garden, storage room, watchtower, laboratory, all kinds of different ins and outs. And then every single angle of this Citadel just looks awesome. The color scheme looks cool. The fact that it's built on top of the rocks is awesome. And then it even comes with a little boat. All right, and here's another angle. I really do like the steps, and it looks like there's a little, I'm not sure what this is over here, but there's a little door over here. And then also there's a waterfall to the left, which looks really cool as well. And then as you can see, the boat actually goes inside the little door on the side, and it opens up. And you can just turn it. So it has some pretty cool playability with it. And overall, like I said, this set will go really good with a lot of different themes. And it does actually, in my opinion, look Lord of the Ring-ish, which is pretty cool. All right, and there's another view of it. All right, here's the minifigures it comes with. I don't remember exactly what faction these are, but I just call them the Pegasus faction. All right, so moving on to the next one. This one is just going to be a waste of money. All right, so it comes with 607 pieces. I know Lego probably had to choose something that was small, but this was not the move. Honestly, the wheels on this thing are so small. And then on top of that, like there's just nothing that screams, oh man, this is such a cool Bricklink set. I want to pick this up. All right, and then whenever I did see this photo, I was like, where'd the van go? And then I realized they took it out of the picture. But here's a side look at it. Nothing too crazy, nothing too popular. All right, and there's another view of it. And here's the minifigures. No special minifigures, just some basic minifigures. All right, so here's what the van looks like by itself. It looks like a single person van. Like I said, this is probably going to be $40 to $50. Definitely not worth $40 to $50. You could pick up a Star Wars set and you'd be a lot happier with the Star Wars set versus this. And as you can see, it just looks way too low in the back and just looks very off. There's another horrible view of it. All right. And finally, last but not least, is the Village Parlor. So this is another one of those sets that is just mid as can be. Honestly, whenever I saw this was released, it made me want to start submitting series sets. Because if something like this can, oh my goodness, I could have easily done this in my sleep. There's nothing special about this. The building looks super small, and it looks like a fifth grader could have built it. No offense. All right. And like super small, won't even fit good with the modulars because it's so narrow. It's just going to be its own building by itself. All right, so I will say the ice cream idea does look pretty cool. All right, here it looks like a little inside. The staircase does look pretty cool. All right, here's the front view of it. It looks like there's a little garden out in front. I will say I do like the little roses out in front. I didn't know Lego started making the molds of these, which is pretty cool. This is my first time actually seeing them. All right, and here's a look at the back. And as you can see, nothing too crazy, not much playability, and it's just lackluster at best. And with it being 1,900 pieces, it'll probably be about $150. And honestly, this doesn't even compare or compete with a modular. And as you can see, there's no holes on the side to where you can even connect it to a modular. So honestly, this building would just be sitting out in the middle of nowhere, or you'd have to take it and put it in a city. But like I said, it's too small that it just won't fit with any of the current items. Overall, Series 11 is very mid, and compared to the past series, honestly, Series 10 blows this out of the water. Even the kiosk, which I thought was pretty mid, is better than most of the sets from the newest series. Honestly, Series 10 is way better than Series 11, and in my opinion, like, it's not even a competition. Series 11, they definitely dropped the ball. There were so many different sets they could have chosen from, and they went with the not the worst, but they did have some really bad eggs in it. Like I said, the space set's really good, and then the Elven Citadel is really good, but the other three are mid at best. And that is going to be it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.